I don't know. I don't know if it's weird to lead off with this. Why are so many of Leonardo DiCaprio's movies like he plays a white man who's trying to get away with shit? Like, what's that about?
Now you got me thinking.
Aviator,
Some,
obviously.
Yeah,
something in the
clearly.
soul.
Catch Me If You Can.
Uh,
What's that other one? I was just thinking of it.
we're going to get to it at the
Okay,
end
so
of the
not what's Gilbert
miniseries,
Gilbert Grape, obviously
No.
but
not. Blood Diamond.
Oh,
yeah. Oh man.
Django Unchained.
Yep.
Inception. Like, if we can lie to this guy just right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't got to say it. It's The Wolf of Wall Street, and that's
Yeah.
going to be the part
Yeah.
3 of our miniseries.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was hoping for Critters 3.
Oh man. So yeah, we are doing a Martin Scorsese / Leonardo DiCaprio miniseries, since Killers of the Flower Moon is coming up in a few weeks, and this is our first part of our 3-part series. So I'll start off with, what is your favorite Scorsese movie, and what is your favorite DiCaprio movie?
I'm going to say my favorite Scorsese is The Departed.
Okay, I purposely did not pick that for this because everybody loves it. And there's nothing wrong with all of us loving a movie.
No.
I just figured we might as well have a bit of an adventure. Yeah. Did you have a Scorsese one? Or is it the same?
I don't know. I don't want to sound like one of those guys, but I just really liked Taxi Driver. But I forgot that he directed Bad.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
I don't think I knew that before now.
I looked that up a couple months ago when I was like, man, there's just so much going on in this that I forgot about. There's Wesley Snipes. Like, what's going on? And it's like, oh no, it's like he was like, hey, Scorsese. I was like, no, he didn't.
He called him.
I don't feel right calling him Martin. So yeah, like it just kind of is. But Taxi Driver is kind of a whole weird mood. But I guess there's a lot of people who know that like you can't trust men who like that is their only favorite movie. That's bad. Something's wrong with those dudes.
That's fair.
It's not a hero.
Favorite Scorsese movie, but it's not your favorite movie.
No.
There you go. See, you're safe. It's okay.
No.
Oh.
It is definitely not Little Mermaid. It's no Little Mermaid.
Okay. All right. Do you have a DiCaprio, a Leo favorite?
That's a little harder because I've always felt a little. I don't want to say there's something about his ability to fit in a movie he doesn't look like he should fit in.
You talking about Django?
No, any of them.
Oh, any of them. Okay.
Any of the movies. Like he always seems like the wrong choice. And then you see the movie and it's like, I
think it's because we have everybody has it just locked in our heads that he's a kid.
Yeah, that's probably a good chunk of it. Romeo and Juliet's just stuck in everybody's mind. So, but
that was definitely something that he tried to shake at some point.
Oh, definitely.
Get past I'm not a kid anymore. I'm doing
but
grown
he
shit
absolutely made Inception. Like, I hate to put it that way. Like, if it weren't for him and 30 Rock or 30 Rock, Third Rock, him and the guy from Third Rock from the Sun. I can't think of that guy's name.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes. He has a whole website where he's asking people to be creative all the time, and I can never remember his name. But yeah, like those two really made Inception work, and I think they should have more scenes together in it. So I do like Inception, but I also everybody has to love Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a law.
It didn't hit me until just now how many movies of his I absolutely love. And he's not one of my favorite actors, but he's just in the right movies. And honestly, he's like, I think I've mentioned it before, like a lot of actors, they'll go by this advice where if you want to have a good career, the trick is to work with good directors, and he started doing that very early on. So that's why he has a lot of bangers, because he also works with like established directors who know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's like it's not all on him to carry a movie, because he knows that the director got it, kind of deal. And even if he doesn't bring 150% to the role, it's still, the chances are still likely that he'll have a good movie.
I just had a weird epiphany. I feel I'm not going to retract everything I said. That's ridiculous. Basketball Diaries is actually my favorite film of his.
Okay.
I watched
Okay.
Basketball Diaries because I liked
Never
the
seen it.
I watched it's about a real person, and well, a lot that'll
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So I say that like no one ever does that. It's a poet, and it's based on his life story, and like there's embellishments and whatnot. But I was introduced to the poet through the punk scene, and then somebody's like, "Well, this movie is about him," and I was like, "What?" Well, I went to the movie because I really liked the work of It's Gone. But he had like a whole poetry book called Out Come the Wolves, and then the band Rancid based like one of their songs and albums off of that, I think. Yeah, it was just kind of like, I'm gonna go see this movie, and it came out of that movie thinking, wow, dude really does have like all of this intense emotional stuff that he went through in his early life to become the poet he is. Also, it's another movie that basketball is in, but this time it's not just pigeonholed into there. It's not Alien 3 over here. It's supposed to be.
I think Leo is the best example of the work with good directors ideology for actors, because I think after Romeo and Juliet, maybe, you can look at his filmography and every single movie somewhere around there after that is an established director. Like every single one of his movies for the last 20 something years is an established director. And so he was like, someone told him that, and he was like, got it. All right, locked in. For me, my favorite Scorsese is actually Silence, which we're not going to do because it doesn't have Leo in it.
Okay.
I was pushing because I remember I asked the group, for the listeners, they're like, well, who are these people? And we assemble once a month on a stormy night, and I asked them, okay, for this miniseries, Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out. Should we do Scorsese or should we do Leo or both? But I'm worried that if we do both, then it might just turn into Leo miniseries, and we won't talk about Scorsese, because honestly, I don't know if I know enough to talk about him. But also wanted to do Silence, but I was like, nah, I can't really pass up doing both because that seems to make the most amount of sense. And then also everybody wins, right? Except for me, because I wanted to do Silence. So that's my favorite Scorsese, but favorite Leo is really hard because of the reasons I said earlier. But I have a special place in my heart for The Great Gatsby, which is him and Baz Luhrmann. Why'd you say that? You the one who put me on it.
You also just stole my answer.
Oh, well, we can have the same answer.
Ew.
We can have the same answer.
No, we can't. I'm gonna pick
We're
my
not
second
married,
one now.
right? I mean, it's like we're married or something, right? Like, obviously, Inception. We don't got to go down the Nolan road. But same thing goes for Django and The Departed. I guess it would be the no.
You can have Gatsby. It's fine.
So The Revenant. Fuck, there's so many that I absolutely love. I don't know which is my favorite Leo one. Actually, I'm pretty sure I have a list of my absolute favorite movies ranked, and so I could just go to that. In fact, let me just do that now and just shut up. Hold on, real quick. Okay, according to this, my favorite Leo is...
Thanks for tuning in to Secret Group of Brown Kids. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Here's to Fran's favorite top 5 Leonardo DiCaprio movies.
Guess it's Inception. Yeah, I guess it's Inception, and like close behind it on my list, the next Leo movie would be The Revenant, and then right after that is Gatsby. But
I still haven't seen Revenant, and I'm lacking because I know that's the one where you finally got the statue. So I gotta.
People
He
give
earned
it
it.
grief because they're like, because he's been nominated before, but this was one of those things where like they're like, okay, yes, he might deserve an Oscar, but not for this one. But y'all just gave it to him because he got snubbed before, kind of deal. So I mean, I think he still deserved it, but they're like somebody else was better. I forgot what that year was, who he was up against, but
I remember people just being mad that the meme was over.
oh yeah,
they were like, "No, he can't win. How will we? What will we meme?" I'm like, everything else.
I mean, he got a new meme now, so it's all good.
Now the meme is he has one. So
also the she's 25. Sorry, gotta go. Anyway, that's his
good
personal.
God.
So yeah, on that note, thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? It's a secret, but you might be able to find us watching experimental planes test fly from the safety of the ground, because fuck that. Oh man. My name is Tiffzilla. I'm your host today, and on this podcast, I make my friends watch movies and talk about their feelings with me. On the panel today, he has 32 cat t-shirts. Tim.
You don't know how close you are.
And actual house cat, Cherry.
I have no comment. Sorry. I wasn't ready.
And the movie of the week is The Aviator from 2004. And as we said, we're doing
a whole movie about sunglasses, huh?
Yes. Who knew?
Specific style of sunglasses. I love them.
Yeah.
They think I'm a cop, but
license and registration.
Yeah, but like I said, we're doing a Martin Scorsese / Leonardo DiCaprio miniseries, because why not go for the twofer? And this is our first one. I might as well say this because I always forget. Next up, we got Shutter Island, and after that, we're doing The Wolf of Wall Street. But back to the Aviator. From 2004. If you don't know what it's about, it's a biopic depicting the early years of legendary director and aviator Howard Hughes. His career from the 1920s to the mid-1940s. Starring, as we said, Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, but also Kate Blanchett, Kate Beckinsale, John C. Reilly, Alec Baldwin, Alan Alda. I don't think I said his last name right.
That's right. That's all there is.
Our nigga Bilbo, Ian Holm, just to name a few. And we got some bit parts from like Gwen Stefani, Jude Law, and even like Willem Dafoe has a cameo. So a lot of actors in this, as these type of movies tend to have. There's a lot of room to fit people in. I wonder how it works if it's just like Scorsese, sign me up. And I'm gonna say this maybe like 2 more times. This has a lot of similarities with Oppenheimer, Nolan's latest, the biopic. And not in the sense that like, because Oppenheimer's about him realizing he fucked up. I don't think Howard ever realizes that. Nah, but they come from different angles, but there's a lot of similarities. Just like there's like 50,000 actors in this. Even some technical stuff. It's pretty neat if you look at the two together. But moving on, currently streaming on Paramount Plus, unfortunately. And the budget.
This had to be very expensive.
Right?
It had $100 million budget, and it made $213 million.
Okay.
How would it feel being on the set of a movie where you have to convey how much you're spending on a movie, knowing that you're spending a lot of money on the movie that you're making about that movie? Ouch.
Scorsese put up $500,000 of his own money because they went over the budget. And it's funny because there's a part of that in this movie where Howard spends his own money because they went over budget. But yeah, I think it had 11 Oscar nominations and won 5. And it had a whole bunch of BAFTAs and wins too. And Rotten Tomatoes, audience score 79% and critics 86%. Should I? Nah, I don't want to keep pushing off the Rotten Tomatoes conversation, but I feel like it's not appropriate for this one.
We could just have a mini-sode where we talk about it, since everybody else has already talked about it, and we'll just be more black about it. That's what we will add to the. That'll be the spice.
Let's throw that in there. Okay. I don't have any new shout outs. Our usual suspects. I don't know if Quebec is still with us, which makes me sad. But we got at least 2 or 3 people listening in Ontario, so Canada's still doing its thing. Shout out Canada.
To the Canadians if you're the people I know, in which case, give me a visa.
I'm sure one of them is Justin. I'm not sure who the other, at least one, maybe 2 Canadians are. But, feel free to talk to us on Blue Sky or Threads.
Come through.
All right. So, spoiler warning, we're going to spoil the movie from 2004. It's a 19-year-old movie. If you haven't seen it, it's worth the watch, though. Also, it's a biopic, so I don't know. It's hard to spoil biopics. It's just, unless you just really don't, never heard of that person.
Spoiler alert, he died. But not in the movie.
Yeah. Technically, this is not a cradle to the grave biopic. It's technically, because you got your cradle to the grave biopics, them being born, rising to do whatever interesting thing they do, and then dying, and everyone's sad. Or you just got this one moment in time, and we're just focusing on that, or specific moments, and then that's it. Which this is it's definitely not one moment in time. It stretches 20 years, but we don't see him die.
we get the meat of it.
Yeah,
everything up until
we get the cool parts.
Once he starts, doing the cool stuff is the best part. I want to see him arguing it with his parents about how much money their company makes. That's whatever.
Well, yeah, you don't even see him get the money in the first place. You see, movie starts out with him making a movie off the money he already done made.
Yeah.
Do movies differentiate between whole life and chunk of life the way books do?
How do books do it? And I'll tell you.
That's the difference between like a biography or an autobiography and a memoir. A memoir is just like a specific chunk of their life, and it could be 20 years, but it's like the main focus is a particular portion of their life, not like birth to death.
Oh, I never knew that. No, they just if it's about a real person, they just slap biopic on it.
Oh, okay.
Regardless of how they do it.
Interesting.
Or at least if it's about a real person, like the focus is on a real person. Like you could have a movie where real people are in it, but if it's the focus on a real person, biopic. But yeah, so how'd y'all feel about it without getting into it too much?
The first time? I mean, I don't know. I've watched this movie probably more. I mean, not that I'm keeping count, but if you said it was more than 20 times, I would agree with that. Like I watched this movie a lot, so clearly I like it.
Yeah,
this is possibly my 3rd time watching it. The first time, as usual, I don't know how I got into so many times where I'll see like a quarter of a movie and then leave, or like come in the middle of a movie. That's just somehow, I don't know. Maybe it's the musician side of being a person. I don't know, but seeing it all the way through, really just good movie. Like it's not one of those, I wish they still made movies like this. It's just kind of like, probably like Scorsese and some of the other greats. They're like, we want you to be able to watch this movie multiple times, so we're gonna like make it just packed enough without going crazy.
Yeah,
many interpretations to what's going on without coming off pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got to do it, or that's how they do it successfully, I guess. I love it. I got introduced through one of the many times Cherry was sitting there watching it on TV. Or not watching it was just on. And then at some point I was like, I need to watch more Leo movies or something. I was trying to go through his filmography. And even though I didn't finish because, like I said, I haven't seen Basketball Diaries, I was like, The Aviator. I don't think I saw that in its entirety because it's just random chunks on TV whenever she has it on. Let me go through that. So from start to finish I did, and I was like, this was a banger, and I don't remember anyone really talking about it, and it's probably because it came out in 2004 and I was in high school, and high school ain't gonna be like, man, did you see that new Martin Scorsese movie? Unless, they're in like theater or something, and I only did 1 year of acting, so yeah. Well, yeah, let's get through it. I need to do it like that one fragrance YouTuber does. Let's get into it!
Or not.
kill my dreams just like that.
all the fancy YouTube people who are like, let's get into it, and then they do an ad.
Yeah. Well, first, a message from our sponsors: buy this soap for your balls.
And if your balls are too hairy, buy these clippers for your balls.
Fucking Manscaped.
I follow a YouTuber who.
I was about to say.
No. I don't have balls.
That's not where I was
going there. Where were you going?
I thought you were going to say you follow the Manscaped channel or something.
Oh no. I'm good.
What you trying to say?
What's the buzz on Manscaped?
Are there Manscaped channel? I don't want to know. Google. I wasn't asking Google. Do not put that in my algorithm. Thank you.
We're all gonna get clippers in our.
I decline. I decline Google AdSense. Thank you.
That would be a good time to say we have a message from our sponsors. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Enough bullshit. What were you going to say?
The moment's passed.
Oh.
I was going to say I follow a YouTuber who always at some point in her episode will be like, but we'll do this after word from our sponsor. It's never where the commercial break is.
Oh, wow.
It's never. I mean, it's YouTube, so there are actual ad breaks. Mm-hmm. That's never where her commercial break is. That's never.
It's a running joke, right? Or she just says that.
I don't know.
AI puts it where it wants.
I can't tell.
I know a channel who I don't know how they pull it off, but the Google drops, the YouTube ad drops come right on their breaks every time. Like there'll be like a change in action and it'll happen.
I feel like they can control that. Like they can say how many ad breaks they want in a video. I think they can control.
But she just kind of doesn't drop them.
Yeah, she just.
That's why I went to. Oh, it's a running joke.
I don't think it is. I think she just. Like drops it wherever.
That girl wild. Like if it's a running joke and like people be in her comments, hey, did you know that the ads don't drop when you say it's gonna drop? Like, and she just ignores them because like
not one single video doesn't drop.
I mean, we got a couple of like running inside jokes that we just don't acknowledge. It's literally the name of our podcast. So I can recognize game, you know. Like anyway, this is about the Aviator. So. Film starts out in 1913, Houston, and we see 8-year-old Howard Hughes' mother giving him a bath and teaching him how to spell quarantine. Damn it. I should have made that a joke. And teaching him how to spell independent. INDE. Anyway, 3 people are going to get that joke. How to spell quarantine.
F-U-C-K, but single free.
Teaching him how to spell quarantine because she's warning him about the recent cholera outbreak, right? 14 years later, in 1927, he begins to direct his film Hell's Angels and hires Noah Dietrich, played by John C. Reilly, to manage his day-to-day operations of his business empire.
Fun facts. I now know that I have in fact seen this movie from the beginning several times.
Because you remember this.
I remember this, yeah. I guess I just assumed that stuff happened before, but...
It's a hard cut.
It's a hard cut. It's clearly...
No kid. Spell this word.
We went from 8 to grown. That was it. Yep. I have seen it from the beginning.
And spoiler alert, they don't circle back until the last scene.
Right.
Well, there is one scene where, anyway, but yeah. So next we see Howard at a Hollywood jazz club asking if he can get 2 more cameras from MGM, and like the guy is like, "You got 24 cameras, and you need more? You don't think you're good with 24?"
Bro, we need him. Come on.
He needs 26 to make it work. He's out of his mind. Could you imagine? Like, because clearly cameras, like this is 1927. So like cameras it's just you just don't got cameras laying around.
Yeah.
You don't got an old phone you can use, right? They're like, this man is out. He's using a movie just needs 1 camera to be filmed on. He got 24, and he's asking us for more, and he's the competition. Because at this time, he's not with the studio. He's making it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but either way, he's not them, so he is competition. Yeah, that's why I understand why they felt the way they felt. So Howard goes to complain to his press guy, Johnny Mayer, played by Adam Scott, and a cigarette girl comes over and starts like talking to Johnny, and that annoys the shit out of Howard because they were having a conversation. So he makes his presence known, and Johnny's like, Thelma, this is Howard Hughes, and we're just discussing how he wants me to pull a camera out of my ass. I love old-timey movies because they talk like this.
The transcontinental accent is well documented as something ridiculous. Didn't need to do it. Did not need to do it. Transatlantic, that's the one.
Yeah, transatlantic.
Transatlantic accent.
Yes.
I didn't know they had a name.
Yeah.
So is it real, or did they just decide that that's how people sounded in 19 whatever?
If I could be wrong, but I just remember it being like someone trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah.
It was just like, why are you doing this? Like, nobody needs this.
Kind of like the way like Madonna and Martha Stewart have the same accent, but it's not an accent that actually exists in the world.
That exists? I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a black TikToker, and I can't think of her handle right now, who actually like makes videos teaching you how to have the transatlantic accent if you choose. Like,
well, I'm gonna do it.
She's very like into that time period. That's her like aesthetic with her makeup and clothing and all of that stuff. And
she's a 1920s file.
It's pretty, yeah, if that's what you call it. Because I don't know.
Romanticizes the Roaring 20s, and
yes, which as a black person, I would
talking like that. Hey.
You're not going to catch my black ass talking like that for very long.
Whatever folks
right. That's quackers.
Yeah, see?
See?
Twirl my mustache. So now I got to redo the quote. Thelma, this is Howard Hughes, and we're just sitting here discussing how he wants me to pull a camera out of my ass. Yeah. Oh man, I learned two things. That this wasn't really a thing. They made it up, and it's called transatlantic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Johnny says that, but then Howard starts flirting with Thelma, the cigarette girl. So we're 10 minutes into the movie, and we already established three things about Howard. He's a germaphobe. He's a visionary, but like with most visionaries, he's incredibly particular and uncompromising, and he loves women. And he kind of smooth with it, too.
No, I would be serious. There's a part of me that was like, this shit ain't work, did it?
Look, that is.
I'm like watching the whole scene. I'm like,
Look,
that's too much. He need to turn it down.
I was like, yo,
this shit's working. That shit working.
Cherry,
damn.
Look, when we met, if I'd been like, hey, how do you feel when I rub my fingertips across? Like, would that have worked?
What?
In this specific moment, when he talks to the cigarette girl, he starts flirting with her. He was like, how does this feel? And he starts rubbing his fingertips. He's like, one of my fingertips rub across the leg. How does that feel? And she's digging it.
It's weird for a stranger. Ew.
At first she looked a little indifferent, but just kind of like, where is this going?
Yeah.
But then he follows it up with, because I want to learn what pleases you. And I was like, okay, that's too much.
Look,
but then he follows it up again with like, whatever it takes to know what gives, like, makes you feel good. That's what I want to know.
No, like
there, I'm like,
that's straight out of like old
a stranger. No thanks.
Yeah, what if Teddy Pendergrass is the stranger?
What, like, Teddy Pendergrass? How old am I? What?
Well, I'm just saying, but like that's some shit he would say.
It very much was like, there's just no way that's working. But I suppose the wallet tax was going with that. You know? Yeah,
you know he got money?
Yeah.
Like he's not a cigarette boy getting on her. Like,
yeah.
He was Howard Hughes though. By the time we jump in here, he's already well known.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So point is, fellas, don't try this shit at home. Also get that money. Oh, man.
They were shockingly smooth sounding lines, but they would be kind of like, it'd be better if they were accompanied with any knowledge of you prior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be some dude in the club hitting that line. That's not. This doesn't work.
Hey, girl.
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank.
You know
Isn't
how
that
many?
a Casey JoJo song?
What the fuck?
What? Hey girl.
Or no, I want to know.
I was thinking of the guy from Boys to Men. Hey girl. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know how many cool shirts I have at my house? I got one with snakes. Maybe come by and see it. I'll take you there on my mom's bird scooter. She's still got 45 minutes left.
Getting back to the movie, Howard hits the cigarette girl with I want to know what turns you on. I like to know.
Wait, Joe, how old is she? No.
Is she 25?
Oh man. It's Joe, not Casey and JoJo. That's right. I was close.
If she doesn't know what happens when you say I don't know on Nickelodeon, she's too young for you.
But yeah, so next we see Howard working on the movie, and he realizes his planes look slow on film because there's nothing behind the plane to create a sense of movement, right? And it dawns on him, we need clouds, because if you see a plane zip by a cloud, now you know it's going fast and not just there, right? So they hire a meteorologist from UCLA named Professor Fitz, played by Ian Holmes, shout out Bilbo, to find the clouds. 8 months go by before they find clouds. Because they're filming in California, Southern California.
Well, like, not having rain doesn't mean they don't have clouds. They don't have clouds.
Look, it never rains or gets overcast.
It's never overcast. It's never just a cloudy day. They don't just have like
eventually the clouds lead to rain. So
I don't remember Casey either, and JoJo. I don't remember Tony. I'm mixed up all my bands now. I don't remember Tony being that specific. So I just don't.
Right. They're never like it's never overcast in Southern Cal. Like, no,
get them on the phone.
It's just rain. So like they don't have clouds.
Hello, Tony. On. Is this Tony or is this Tony?
No. You want Tony. I'm Tony, and Tony knows more about meteorology than either of us.
Yeah. Get Tony on the phone.
Get Tony on the phone.
Tone.
So after 2 years, Hell's Angel finally finishes filming, but Howard sees the jazz singer, the first partially talking film, right? And now he wants to reshoot the whole fucking movie for sound. But his company is hemorrhaging money at an insane rate. So he tells Noah to mortgage the oil drill bit company that got him his fortune in the first place, and so they can keep pushing to make Hell's Angels. That's some wild shit.
Grind it too hard.
Like, that's some shit that would get me divorced. I'm like, look, I know we ain't got no money, but I got to keep making this podcast.
Oh, God.
Look, get a second mortgage on the house. But yeah,
for the podcast.
So Hell's Angel finally premieres, and folks love it. And we get a second part with the red carpet scene. So on this scene, you catch a second part where you can tell that Howard's starting to lose his hearing. Just like with all the people yelling his name and stuff, and like he gets interviewed. That's what it is. He gets interviewed, and he can't he's like making up answers to the wrong questions because he can't hear the dude. But yeah, so folks love Hell's Angels, but he doesn't. And when they come out of the premiere, he's like, we got to recut the movie, and we got to start tonight. Like, that's some wild shit. Mm-hmm. You know how bad I gotta need a job to work with somebody like this? Like, bro, we just spent 2 years. Man,
but
the movie done.
It's not your money.
I mean, yeah, but you could, if you're helping him along towards ruin, you might be out of a job. But like, he told Noah up front, he was like, he said, I'll pay you double. And he's like, well, I guess I have to work twice as hard. He said, no, you got to work 4 times as hard. I'm getting you for half the price.
What the
This nigga playing chess. So, yeah, now we see Howard courting Katharine Hepburn, legendary actress, starting with a golf game. And if you watch the movie and you're listening to us now, you would know that now the color in the movie started to get a bit weird. And that's because Scorsese, he wanted the movie's color to match the color of movies at the time. So now we have colored movies, but it's that Cinecolor where things are like the greens are more turquoise and stuff like that. So that's why all of a sudden the color looks kind of weird, because the beginning of the movie, he doesn't do that because it would have been in black and white, and I guess he just didn't want to. But once the color starts, it was matching the color of the movies at the time. So in this scene, we get that kind of strange thing, because I totally forgot about it. And Tim sent me a screenshot. He was like, "Hey, my TV's being weird." And then when I was watching, my TV's being weird. Wait, no, it can't be. It has to be on purpose.
We're in the wrong age for people to be doing weird like color correction on a movie, like just out of nowhere.
But hold on, let me check these damn settings. Anyway, so yeah, Katharine Hepburn, and straight up, she tells him that he's deaf straight to his face.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know we usually go through this at the end of the movie, but I'm gonna say straight up, like, she's my favorite character.
She knew what was up.
Yeah, played by Cate Blanchett, who Scorsese asked her to watch 15 of Katharine Hepburn's movies so she can get her like cadence down. Like,
I wish she hadn't.
Look, when she first pops on the screen, it was a lot, but eventually I fell in love with it.
I can't stand her talking at all the whole movie.
When they're on that golf course, it's like jarring at first. But by the second scene, I love it.
I would have preferred she watched her later movies so that we could have got a little bit of things like this. I would have preferred this.
That happens once.
You don't understand how much I love you, Howard Hughes. But it hurts to love you, Howard Hughes. It's... Am I British? No, I'm from Connecticut, which that's where I'm from.
But she actually worked with a vocal coach. Jesus,
court.
Look, my transatlantic accent is fighting my real.
It's getting a little hard for him to say simple words. Maybe we cut that transatlantic thing off. You're a little too far in the weeds there, Tiff.
She worked with a vocal coach to get her New England accent down, because it was like Katharine Hepburn's. She's so iconic, so she wanted to get it right. So she studied her vocal cadence and her physical cadence to get everything down.
She did move too much like her, so yeah. I'll give her that.
Look, she put that work in and she got it. This was originally supposed to be Nicole Kidman's role, but filming got moved and she couldn't do it anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. Scorsese insists that Cate Blanchett was his original choice from the jump, but
I mean, everybody likes to go, yep, it was good. That's what I meant to do.
Yeah.
I don't remember Nicole Kidman before her current nose, so I can't picture it.
Yeah.
I guess neither do I. She got to me, I call it the bewitched nose, because I always picture her like twinkling, but that wasn't even her in that movie, right?
That was the one that was married to Tom Cruise.
That's Nicole Kidman. Maybe it was Nicole Kidman.
Oh, maybe it was Nicole Kidman.
Not in the movie, not the show, obviously. In the show, she's old, but
let me look on my letterbox.
In the movie or the show? In the show?
In the movie.
No. Oh, the movie. Okay. In the movie, it might have been her.
It might have been her. Maybe that's why I call it the bewitched nose, because I can literally see her doing the wiggle. Anyway, that was a tangent. So Katharine Hepburn, she tells Howard he's deaf to his face, and they're both eccentric as shit, but in different ways, and it meshes. So we get a scene at another club where he takes her out to dinner, and he's trying to eat dinner, but then his publicist dude, Johnny Mayer, comes over with Errol Flynn, played by Jude Law. And this fucking scene, I felt for him. They wrote on him, and they killed the mood with all this Hollywood talk, and like, you should come out to the yacht and do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. And Jude Law stretches across. He takes there's like a lamp in the middle of the table. He takes the lampshade off, then stretches across the table, and Howard just gets his food. It's a giant honking steak, and 14 specifically placed individual peas in a 4x4 grid pattern.
Like they clearly did a thing. Yeah. It was well placed. It was like, this guy knows what the hell he wants.
Yeah.
Do it, please.
And we also see a steak is well done, which is a sin, but we'll get to that later. Jude Law stretches across and just snatches a single pea. And when he snatches the pea, the other peas get moved around too. And the rest of the scene, Howard is sitting there trying his best to hold it together. And you said at some point he just pushes the plate. He's like, I can't.
Like he might as well have spit on his steak.
Yeah,
that's the way he looked. It was like, nah. Whether or not he was eccentric, it's still like, who are you? Why did you touch my food?
Yeah, you don't do that to anybody.
No one.
You
know, you got to at least hit him with a, could I get one of those? You didn't. He do anything like that. He starts smoking over y'all.
Yep.
And just loud.
Look, we might not have had the thing happen where they come and take some shit off our plate, but we all had that, like, we're out to eat somewhere and then somebody you really ain't trying to have at your table come to your table and just kill the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
That shit is wild. So, but anyway, the whole time this is happening, Catherine is watching Howard and like she's taking it all in and was just like she's observing him and she realizes how he's trying his best to hold it together. So she's like, she takes him and they leave and it's all right, we got someplace to be. And they dip out. And I love it because like she's actually paying attention to him as a person and don't nobody else do that. Or at least they just ignore it because he's their boss. You know, you're not going to tell the boss, hey man, you weird as shit. She's the only person who ever like,
Lord,
straight up.
Weird thing that I noticed during this scene, which everybody else is probably like, Tim, shut up, that's dumb. Errol Flynn starts talking about how great Catalina is and how everybody should go. Right next to Adam Scott, who played the stepbrother or a brother in Step Brothers. And his whole goal was to get people to go to the Catalina fucking wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer.
I noticed that immediately. It was like, he doesn't look that interested. That's weird. You think he would be more excited?
Fucking Catalina wine mixer. Oh man,
like, I want to go.
And this came before Step Brothers.
Way before.
Yeah, so.
But this is like real life. You can't compare this movie.
Let's call it an Easter egg in Step Brothers.
That part of Step Brothers where they do the callback to the Aviator.
Right, it's not a callback. It's
not. Let me just throw this on my letterbox.
But yeah, so Howard takes Catherine up in his plane for a flight over LA at night, and like we see how smooth my boy is. Tim, you trying to do that?
What?
I'll do my best transatlantic Catherine.
No, please.
Howard, yeah, there's a rather alarming mountain headed our way.
No, that was the best. That was actually I loved that part because it was like he's just like, you know what to do.
Pull up on the wheel a smidge.
She's like, I've literally never flown a plane before.
Look, and you just got up and left. He's like, to get some milk. He's like, there's some milk back here.
He's just all about that milk.
Oh man. But yeah, like that was smooth. Like how he came down and like, hey man, my boy got moves. Anyway, of course, this results in winning Catherine over. And I wanted to point out the nice transition from him like running his hands across her back to running his hands across the smooth plane because he told his boy Odie that like he wanted flush rivets. The rivets create drag, and his airplanes need to have flush rivets so they decrease the drag. And like that was a thing we heard earlier. So then when he was getting it on with the Catherine, you see his hand run across her back, and then it just transitions to his hand running across a smooth plane. That was cinema.
Yeah, like it was actually pretty well done edit. That that's the kind of thing I see and I'm like, was that on purpose or did someone go, "Ooh, look at this. Hey, Martin, look at this. I came up with that." No, you didn't. I was just editing his Nah, I came up with that shit. Put my name on it. Like, damn, Martin. Let me have something. All right. Head cinematographer or something. I don't know.
Now I got to look up if one of them 11 Oscar noms was for editing. Like, did he get it?
Just for that scene.
Right? Look.
Let me have something.
Look, I held on to it. But yeah, so we get a scene of him test flying the new plane, the H-1 Racer, and despite crash landing in a beet field, he broke the speed record, right?
Yeah.
And he immediately goes to see Catherine and breaks the news, and like she treats his foot, and she's so proud of him. She's so happy for him. And like then they get vulnerable with each other. And Howard confesses that he gets weird feelings and sometimes he sees things he's not sure are there. And like Catherine comforts him and reassures him, you can handle it, babe. Which was actually a really nice scene because like she mentions like her brother committed suicide and like they actually open up to each other. And like I said, she's the only person that like sees him. In Avatar language, I see you, Jake Sully, whatever.
Jake Sully.
So 5 years later, Howard beats the record for flying around the Earth in 4 years. And while he was flying, he bought the airline TWA because, as we previously saw, he wanted to buy an airline so he could circumvent the business bureaucracy so he could push the envelope with aviation and commercial flights by designing better passenger planes.
Man.
I'm not sure if this is exactly where it should be in the timeline because the movie jumps between like 3 storylines a little bit, but it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, he owned TWA. At the premiere of one of Catherine's movies, we see Howard get more attention on the red carpet than she does, and she goes off to talk to folks, leaving him alone. And like this is when we get the first glimpse of Ava Gardner, played by Cate Blanchett, casually walking by and whispering to Howard, "Don't worry, Howard, she's just working the room. She's doing her job." So then we get the first bathroom scene. Like there's several iconic scenes from the movie, but of the handful, there's 2 iconic bathroom scenes of him being OCD as shit.
But he had OCD though.
Yeah, yes, but like they did it. They showed it in such a way that it was like, damn. But I'm not making fun of him because that's me. Like
that's not you.
Not full on OCD, but me in a public bathroom. Mm-hmm. I am scared for my fucking life, bro. Like, not revealing too much about my real job, but like the motherfuckers be taking the meanest of shits, and like I be getting mad in a public bathroom. Like you make me smell this shit, and
I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna
piggyback
on what you're saying. When I have to number 2, I do it. I don't know. That's just the way I came up. But I check the bathroom first. If it is smoked out, I peace out. I don't add to chaos. I move along. But I have literally walked into a thing and just been like, "You do not do this at home. What is your problem?" Look, if you are gun shy, do not come in here and make this worse for everybody else.
Man.
What in the world?
Look, I work with some nasty dudes. I'm talking like it's not even all have to do with like taking shits. Like maybe like boogers in front of the urinals because just not rocking in while they taking a piss.
I watched a guy one time digging up there and just wipe it on the bus window, and I was just like,
her look at her soul leave her body right now. Look at her.
No, like I was 2 seats away, and I watched this guy do this, and like he's like sitting like this.
Look,
no thanks.
Look, both of these bathroom scenes, I understand, Howard. Mm-hmm. I get it.
There are people out in the world with no regard for the rest of us.
Ugh,
oh my goodness,
I understand.
So being a germaphobe, and like he legit is a germaphobe and has OCD, and like he's kind of a hypochondriac. I could not remember that fucking word while I was typing these notes. But he's kind of a hypochondriac, or he's very much a hypochondriac. All that combined, one of the worst things to be in is a public bathroom. So we get these two iconic bathroom scenes. So the first time in this one, Howard goes to the bathroom to wash his hands with his own soap he carries around, mind you, in his pocket.
In a little mint tin.
Yeah, I think it's like back then the all natural soap or black soap was made out of tar or something. I don't know if it's still made out of tar, but anyway, it's black soap. Probably has a different meaning now than it did in 1920 whatever.
You might call it African American soap now.
Yeah, I don't think he was fucking with the African American soap back then. Just being honest.
Yeah,
and then so he goes to wash his hands, and then the toilet flushes, and you see this boy go pale because he thought he was by himself in there. Because now in his head, okay, he just went in there to wash his hands and get out, but now he know he's in a room with somebody else that was taking a shit.
Yep. It's like, well, great.
And then the dude comes out with a crutch. So
that messed with his cholera fear.
Yep.
Like immediately it was like, what?
So, he's not healthy. Why do you need that crush? And then he goes on his left side. The guy that came out the stall goes to wash his hand to the immediate left sink of Howard. But to the right is where the hand towels are. So he washes his hands, and the whole time Howard is like starting to break out in a sweat. It's like he's pretending to be invisible. I don't know. And then the dude asks him, "Could you hand me a hand towel?" And Howard's like, I can't. I'm sorry.
It's like,
look. So he looks at him up and down like, So with his crutch, he makes his way over to the other side and gets his own hand towel, and like he finally leaves, and like Howard like lets out a deep breath, like he was holding his breath the whole time. I feel for you, Howard. I get it. I understand. I mean, I would have just handed him the towel, but
I mean, you got a little control over that, you know.
Yeah,
you could just chuck it at him or like drop it on the sink. You don't have to make contact.
Look, you could have gotten out the way, so he could have stretched over. Anyway. So when he comes back outside, Catherine apologizes. Side note, she knew what she was doing. Like, she felt some type of way about more attention being on him.
It's like, you think you're cool? I'm gonna go hang out with these people.
Yeah, look at you.
You can't do that.
Suffering. Standing in the corner, all awkward. Mr. Popular. Fuck you, Howard.
Who's cool now?
I love Catherine, but she definitely knew what she was doing in this moment. Like, that was... Next, we get a scene with Catherine, and she takes Howard to meet her family. And you think she's eccentric for no reason? Nah, she gets it honest.
Oh boy,
whole family weird. So they're driving up to the house to meet her family, have dinner with her family, and some dude like calls out to him. Or Howard's like, "Who's that?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my ex-husband Ludwig." And he's. I forgot what he said. It was like, "Oh, hell no," or like, "What the hell?" Like, it was really funny. But so they're having dinner, and they all overwhelm Howard, and he snaps back at the dinner table, and he's like, "You all don't care about money because you always had it." And he dips, and like he goes outside to like play like, what is that? Not polo, squash. He wasn't
shoot, so what was he throwing around?
Yeah,
I don't remember. I know,
and a ball, and then he was like kicking the ball.
I think it was I don't remember what that shit is. Bugs Bunny ass fucking hit the ball with a mallet.
So Catherine comes out and she's like, "You're okay." Oh, okay. Oh, croquet. Catherine comes out and is like, "You're not supposed to use your feet, Howard." But she comforts him because she understood. Like, before she came out, she was like, "You're just all a fine bunch of bullies, aren't you?"
Like, you like this too. Shut up.
Yeah, you get it honest. But yeah, so then we get a scene with the MPAA, or they changed their name. What they used to be called, the folks who rate movies on, not rate, but like, rate for like content.
Yeah, the censor board.
Yeah, they were upset with Howard because he was trying to put out a movie that featured Jane Russell's boobs prominently. And so he brings on the meteorologist to pretend to be a different kind of professor or scientist or something.
You're a doctor, right?
Right?
So
to like try and give them a scientific explanation of why he needs to put titties in the movie.
But I mean, like, he rolls them though. The scientist for a minute is like, "What do you want me to do?" And he just kind of looks at him like,
he's like, "Here, don't forget your apparatus. I forgot what that little thing is called."
Yeah, calipers.
Calipers.
Yeah. He's like, "Okay, so here's some booby science." I was like, he just rolled with it. Just like, well, you know, judging by these pictures, this much cleavage was being shown on this movie. You didn't have a problem with that, and that's equal to the amount of cleavage in this movie. Like, can you imagine just sitting there like, all right, motherfucker, I don't like you. Just this is semantic, you little bitch. What the hell?
Oh man, but yeah,
it's too late. You. This scene is just the way he kind of rolled everything, though.
Yeah, it's to show you, like, he always got his way, one way or another, and then if you're on his side, or like you're with him, you're one of his people, he'll drag you along, and you just kind of gotta... Because that man is a meteorologist.
He just said, why not?
He brought his ass up to Hollywood
to argue why the fuck not?
Why he gotta use... Man... Because he even gave him a fake name and everything. But yeah, so then we get Howard and Catherine arguing because Howard keeps ending up in tabloids with other women. And he accuses her of being jealous that she's not getting the attention. Like, that's why we need that other scene. Then the phone rings and Catherine's like, don't. Like, well, not just him being... The issue isn't just him being with other women. It's that he's also, like, a workaholic. And so the phone rings and she's like, don't you dare. And Howard picks it up just out of spite and starts talking about planes. So she storms out and she goes to a movie set where she bumps into this dude who actually works for... His name is Juan Tripp, played by Alec Baldwin, he runs Pan Am Airlines. And because Howard bought TWA, he's the enemy. So he sends one of his dudes out to, like, dig up dirt on Howard. And, like, he would just happen to be there at the right moment when Catherine shows up to a movie set pissed off at Howard. So, yeah, Howard got enemies scheming against him now. But eventually Catherine tells him, like, this is not the same day. It's later on. Eventually Catherine tells him that she fell in love with someone else and she's moving out. You're too alike, you and I. Look, Katie, stop acting. Oh. I should have made you do this part. This is when I was telling you she does that. I'm not acting. And I wonder if you even know anymore. You're a movie star, nothing more.
Oof.
That hurt. That hurt me.
That's the kind of stuff you can't say with other people in the room, because the entire rest of the room is going to look like Scott Pilgrim's Friends when he messed up in Act 3.
I know. The whole room goes quiet. You hear the gas. Oh man. But yeah, so bouncing off of Catherine, Howard gets with a 15-year-old actress, Faith, what's the name? Demurg. Okay. Side note.
I honestly knew it was coming. We couldn't make it through the life of a rich person from the 40s without this being part of it. I knew it was coming, but I was still like, dog, no, sir, my dude. How old are you? No. How old are you? Where's my hug?
Wait, what were you talking about?
Just Howard and his like, wow, you're a great actress, really good. You come highly commended. How old are you?
Oh yeah, they made sure you knew, like, don't take this the wrong way or out of context, but I like this part because Scorsese made you know that shit's weird. Because like the way he interviews her at first,
yeah,
and they're just alone in the set or whatever, and the whole thing is just creepy.
Yep.
Yeah.
During this, I should say, like, just side note, I don't know if this needs to stay in or not. During this movie, I would pause it for a second and look up details just because I was curious. Stuff about the planes, stuff about some of the people he interacted with. When I got to this, I was like, hold up. let me see, because I just want to know where this went. Historically, everything else says she was 16 when they met, which makes me feel like Scorsese was like, nah, we telling the truth today. Like every other thing I found said 16. I was like, that's nice and convenient way y'all just threw a little drapes over that. Like, what's 15 3/4 anyway? What's the difference? She practically 18. No.
Nope.
No. You can't round up like that.
Oh man. Yeah, so he gets with the kid. Oh,
rephrase that.
Yeah, I grossed my own self out. Yeah, so they go out to dinner, and Juan Tripp, who I mentioned earlier, drops by the table and goads Howard into revealing TWA's plan for international flights to Europe.
Like, why would you just?
Yeah, and I didn't mention him, but that character, he's at dinner with one of his employees who like handles business for him, and after Juan like leaves with the information he got, he fusses Howard out like, why the fuck would you tell him what like our plans? And Howard's like he tries to like he deflects. He says like, well, he knew they're using buttons in their plane for this specific thing, so that must mean that we have a spy because we're using buttons. Some some bullshit like men with egos, like he just can't admit he fucked up because he definitely like Alec was pushing those buttons.
They're using planes. I wanted to find out if they got that idea from us. No.
Actually, we really liked him as a villain in this because there's another scene later on where every time he's on the screen talking to Howard, he's just fucking with him. Like he's trying to get him to break. Like remember when he sent the dude out to find out dirt on him. It was so he can learn to fuck with him for moments like this.
Yeah.
Just diabolical. So then we get bathroom scene number 2. He goes into the bathroom and he scrubs his hands because he had to shake Juan Tripp's hand, I guess. And he's scrubbing his hands and he's like scrubbing it hard because he's mad because he just fucked up. And he's scrubbing it so hard that eventually his like fingernail like nicks himself, and he keeps going and he nicks himself again. So now his hands are bleeding, and so he has to keep washing his hands because his hands are bleeding, but he's making his hands bleed more. He keeps going and he keeps drying his hands and then he sees like the blood is still coming, so he has to start washing again. And eventually he gets them clean enough, right? And so he goes to leave, but it's a doorknob. And he can't touch the doorknob because it has bathroom germs on it.
He used up all the rags.
All the rags are gone. Horror movie. So I also have a paper towel and I grab the door to leave the bathroom too. And when I can't, I try to like use my foot or something. Like I understand. And if I have no other choice, then I'll like use my pinky. But Howard's uncompromised, so he wasn't going to use his pinky. I mean, it was like the twist doorknob anyway. So
you got to use your left hand.
Yep.
And then the first person you see out of the bathroom, you pat him on the back. Like, hey, how you been?
So what does he do? He stands on the wall until somebody comes in, then he slides out before the door can close.
I want to edit that whole scene to where it sounds like what's his name? I can't think of his name with all the weird. Wow, I can't even think okay, I pull up. Just like I just want him. I just want him coming out. Yeah, so when the door opens up, it's like loud. He slips out. It have very like chilling at the con, waiting for things to be cool and like dip out when nobody knows you're there kind of feeling.
You should do it. I appreciate all of your after party TikToks. So then we see Hughes going out with Ava Gardner, who we saw lurking earlier at the movie premiere, Kate Beckinsale.
Man.
So I guess she was one of his side chicks because like they clearly like we don't see him court her or anything. They're just already like he's watching her get dressed and then he's driving her to where they're gonna go for dinner. And their car gets hit by another car, and in the other car is This is Faith, 15, the not old enough girl.
She at least knows how to drive, but damn.
Yeah, she old enough to get a license, right? She's screaming at Ava Gardner because she's not mad at Howard for cheating on her. She mad at the side chick. And paparazzi, Jesus Christ, Pavarotti.
No, that's too far in the other direction.
The paparazzi pounces on the scene and gets pictures of all of it, right? And Ava gets out the car, and that's when we get the line, "Get that crazy bitch away from me." Man, I'm not really commenting on Kate Beckinsale's acting ability. Everything I've seen her in, she never did a bad job, but also don't regard her as like, oh my gosh, she's such an amazing actress kind of deal. But the way she sold this fucking line, maybe I just haven't seen the right stuff. But anyway, the way she sold this line, I was like, look, give that lady like a piece of an Oscar. Give her like just a chip.
It's just it's a miniature one.
Didn't have that big part.
It's like an Oscar pop figurine.
Yeah, like Catherine was the main girl, but Ava was number 2. And just for that line alone, get that crazy bitch away from me. Oh, shit. But yeah, so after this, we get a scene with a cameo from Willem Dafoe as a reporter who is about to publish photos of Catherine and her new man, who is another actor named Spencer Tracy. But Tracy is married, and Howard still loves Catherine. Remember I said Catherine's best girl. And even though they broke up, very nasty, because, hurt people. I don't know, something like that. He still loves her. So he somehow gets wind that this is about to happen. And he bribes the reporter with TWA shares. And mind you, he's still negotiating. He was like, I'll give you 10,000, or I'll give you some TWA shares to keep that story out to public. Also, I know this, and this about you, and you're going to do this for me. And Willem Dafoe's like, 50,000 shares. He's like, 10,000. It's like, all right.
Okay. I like it. He was like real strong about it. He was like, I'll do it for 50,000 shares.
He's like, no,
10,000. Yeah,
I'm something of a scumbag myself.
I got you're a better negotiator than I am. I'm something of a scumbag myself. Yes. Yes.
Oh man. So yeah. So he still loves Catherine, and he's looking out for her from the shadows. So that's nice, at least. Then we get a scene where Howard's brain breaks. Poor Howard. Where he's talking plane production with this guy, Odie, and trying to decide on what steering wheel to use for the big plane that he's working on. And he noticed a suspicious looking custodian. In Howard's defense, why was he looking at him like that?
He was kind of overdoing it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was overdoing it. It was like the dog with the shifty eyes. Like, what's that dog doing? He had this suspicious looking custodian, and like his paranoia starts to infiltrate his thoughts, and then he gets stuck saying, "Show me the blueprints." Like his OCD goes in overdrive. It's like, show me the blueprints. Show me the blueprints. Show me the blueprints. Show me all the blueprints. Show me all the blueprints. Show me all the blueprints.
It's like, whoa, this episode of Rick and Morty is weird.
So he runs away to his car, and then he spells out quarantine to regain control. He had to run to his car, and he was like, all right, INDEPE. Give me one sec, because my OCD is triggering me.
Stop making OCD jokes. It's 2023. You're trying to get canceled.
Okay, you're right.
I know, but like, be careful.
My undiagnosed ass is over here just like, oh, right. We're not even supposed to say crazy no more.
No, crazy. You can't call people crazy. You can't like OCD. People with genuine OCD like think people are actually gonna die if they don't do it. Like you're really offended when everybody's like, I have OCD. I can't stand when my hands are dirty. Like no, it's not the same. Like
I have OCD. I don't like when my pop figurines aren't, looking at each other the right way.
You're right. Like you have actual OCD. You think if your pop is turned the wrong way, your mother's gonna die. Like literally,
It's that.
There is no between. There's no in between.
Weird jump. Like people thought that Jack Nicholson in I think it was As Good as It Gets, he played a person with OCD, and they thought he like overdid it because there was like at one point he was like outside and he was like sweating because he didn't want to step on the wrong part of the street.
Yeah.
And he gives up and like runs back inside and he like does a bunch of like different little rituals in a row. People were like, oh, you're really overdoing it. And I was like, no. I was like, that's a little too accurate is the problem. I'm wondering if they just filmed him trying to get ready.
Right? It's like
you ready for the scene? I knocked your toothpicks over. Damn it.
Because he played that really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole time I was like, I don't want to feel bad for this guy, but now I do. Oh no.
Well, because he was also an ass in that movie.
He's always an ass. Leonardo's always trying to get away with some shit.
Yeah.
Jack's always an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So now would be a good time for me to apologize. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I'm not Howard Hughes. I apologize. But also a good time to point out that Leo studied with a guy with OCD named Edward to make sure he was doing things properly.
I mean, Leo's OCD. I felt bad for that man most of the movie.
I mean, I felt bad for him too. Okay, so in the 1940s, Howard lands 2 contracts with the Army Air Forces, one for a spy aircraft and another for a troop transport unit for use in World War II. In 1947, the transport plane is still under construction, but Howard gets to test fly the spy plane. The transport plane is the Hercules, aka Spruce Goose.
That plane. Sorry.
I knew a lot about the Spruce Goose, but I didn't know it was an Army plane. I didn't know that was the purpose. I just thought he was
that's why it came about, yeah.
I thought he was like, haha, big plane. I thought that's all it was because he was a little eccentric. But knowing it was going to be a transport vehicle makes a lot more sense.
If this was Trump, then he would have. I mean, it makes sense.
He would have been, it just would have been.
Definitely would have been like.
I made my Spruce Goose out of aluminium like a man. A man's man.
So the big plane's under construction, but he gets to test the spy plane, and while in the air, everything's going good. Engine fails. One engine fails, and this is my favorite scene in the fucking movie.
It's wild.
It is wild. It is wild because this is a true story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so the engine fails, and he's trying to hold it up, but he's radioing down to Odie, and he's like, "Hey, the plane's pitching this way, and I'm trying to get it straight. I'm gonna go down, buddy. I'm gonna crash." he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna try to shoot for the whatever country club golf course," and he's over Beverly Hills, and he doesn't quite hit the golf course. In fact, he overshoots the golf course and then goes through houses.
Mm-hmm.
This is another thing I looked up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Yeah.
They based all of their wreckage on like actual photos that exist.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit.
The part where you see the wings slicing through the house.
Yes.
Like that's a real one of the houses he went through was an actor's house or 2 actors' house, and he went through the bedroom, but luckily they were downstairs in the living room. Otherwise, they would have died.
Terrifying.
Like, right? Man. So
you don't even get on planes after that. You'd be like, nope.
Right? I'm not safe anywhere.
You minding your business? What are they watching? I Love Lucy? I don't know. And like... Yeah.
Howard, you got some explaining to do.
So look, all I could think of watching this the 3rd time or whatever is this happened with Harrison Ford. I think not to this degree, but he has like an old World War II plane that he got just for fun that still kind of works, or he thought worked, and he was up in the sky, and the shit stopped working, and he crash landed it, and he could have killed some people, but he didn't. Like, he almost took some people out. And they're just like, God damn it, these rich people, like, here you are on your old ass spy plane, or
Right.
your World War II plane, just for shits and giggles, almost killing people.
You gotta give old Saturday Night Fever some credit. He wanted to become a pilot. All that stuff from Look Who's Talking is like, just he wanted to be a pilot for real. So he can fly planes.
John Travolta?
Yeah, he can fly planes.
Oh yeah,
he used to have a hangar here in Wilmington, or like at least a place where he kept some of his planes. He is not out there like, I'm gonna take the goofiest, stupidest, shittiest plane I can into the sky. No, it's like new shit. Like,
I see the picture of his mansion, and he lives apparently somewhere in Florida. Of course, there's a community of mansions on a property or subdivision or something with a runway.
Yeah,
That's what's here.
They fly almost everywhere. Yeah,
That's what's here.
Oh, so it's not. It's
there's one of those here, but there's a couple in Florida. One of those that's in this town, and there's like just a bunch of houses and a runway down the middle of it. It's a private runway, and you could just be like, oh, I just kind of feel like maybe shooting over down the coast to get some, eggs Benedict in Florida.
Yep. From
like,
your
just
driveway.
like you got like houses that are like next to like rivers or inlets where they have boats in the backyard and they can eventually sail out. It's a runway with more runways that lead into their properties.
Like, wow.
Yeah. But yeah,
y'all.
Howard fell out the sky and crashed into Beverly Hills. That's not where he wanted to be.
Oh my gosh.
I knew that joke was coming. As
soon as you had that waiting.
Yeah, locked and loaded.
In your pocket.
So, he crash lands right through the houses, and there's fire, the explosions. He tries to like push the thing out, but it's hot because of the fire. He burns his hands. Like, I don't know if you noticed, motherfucker didn't even have a seatbelt on. So like when he crashed, he was just rattling up, like the freaking wheel crushed his chest. Like, man. And then they, of course, like they filmed the shit out of this because like after this, when he's in the hospital, the doctor goes through all of his injuries, and you see all of his injuries happen in the crash.
Yeah.
Wild as shit. So he gets pulled from the wreckage by this army dude, and all he can muster is like, I'm Howard Hughes.
Like, all right then.
Yeah, that's what I would have said if I was the army dude. All right.
You dying? We got bigger fish to fry.
Look, we just gotta try to make sure you're all right, man. But yeah, so the doctor says he has burns on 78% of his body. 9 ribs are shattered, not broken, shattered. And as are his nose and his chin, his cheek, and his left elbow. He has 60 lacerations on his face to the bone. His chest was crushed and his left lung is collapsed, and his heart has shifted to the right side of his chest cavity. And he's telling the doctor's telling this to Noah Dietrich, and Noah's just like, Jesus Christ. That's what I said too. And
how you supposed to do the Star Spangled Banner now?
Oh no.
Pledge of Allegiance all messed up. Say which one?
So doctor tells him he's getting a blood transfusion right now, and Noah's like, whose blood? I'm saying, doctor's like, I'm sorry? He's like, whose blood? Where's it from? He's like, from our stock. Oh, he's not going to like that.
He's not going to like that.
He's like, Mr. Dietrich, I doubt whether he's going to like or dislike anything ever again. Like, my man's is fucked. So, Howard's awake now, and Odie tells Howard that the Air Force canceled the contract for the Hercules because the war's over. Remember I said it was 1947?
Yep.
the war's over, and then we find out that they're still 6 months out and 7 million away from finishing it anyway. But Howard's like, keep building it. And Noah tells him that that there was a Constellation crash. The Constellation is the type of plane that he had bought 40 of for TWA.
Oh, love it.
From Lockheed. So they were already in the hole for that. And one just crashed, so FAA grounded all of the Constellations. So TWA ain't making money. The aircraft company ain't making money.
Like, maybe he should have stuck to movies?
I mean, but that took him how many years, and he won't doing very well at that either.
It's like, I'll make a movie about planes.
He has a business empire.
I'm gonna make planes now. Like, well,
like that's probably what he was like. He's at some point he said, "Look, we'll make it back," and they're like looking at him like, "Nigga, what?" Like he said, "Look, we'll make it back." That's wild. So later on, like he's starting to get a bit better. We see Ava Gardner snapping on Howard because she found a microphone under her bed, and
bro,
Howard confesses that there's bugs all over the house, and he's tapping her phones too. And like she cusses him out.
And the phone in the basement. To tap the bed and the phone in the basement.
So they cussing each other out, and Ava bashes him across the head with an ashtray. This is real. I know it's a biopic and it's implied everything's real, but I just need to specify her bashing his head in with the ashtray is real. Only difference is it happened in somebody else's house and he had it cleaned up, but there was like blood splatter.
Can't hurt him no more than he already hurt. What you gonna do? Look, knock his brains back into working right?
You survived crashing a spy plane through 7 Beverly Hill houses and the plane blowing up on the floor just to die from an ashtray across the floor. Because you assaulted this woman. That's some shit. Deserving shit. But yeah, he didn't die. But still, it's funny. I mean, nothing's funny about domestic violence. This shit was funny. I'm sorry. She bashed that nigga across the face with the ashtray. Granted, he was insulting her, like, and she just found that he was tapping her shit. Yeah, he deserved it.
But I love you, baby. Fuck.
And once again, this the get that crazy bitch away from me, and then this line from Ava, Kate Beckinsale. Everyone told me you were goddamn demented, and I should have listened. So she kicks him out, and then to add insult to injury, when he gets outside, his driver tells him that the FBI is at his house searching for war profiteering evidence.
It's like, buh.
Can't catch a break.
Can my dude take a nap?
Man.
Just like a minute.
He brought it all on himself. I mean,
a little bit.
Well, this wasn't all him. Because this is Juan Tripp. Yeah, so Senator Brewster, the crony from Juan Tripp, a crony from Juan Tripp. He's the one behind the FBI raid, and he invites Howard over for dinner, where he tries to blackmail him into selling TWA to Pan Am, so the investigation findings wouldn't go public. And Howard responds with, this is my favorite Howard line, you could tell Juan Tripp something for me. Thanks for the flowers. And he can kiss both sides of my ass. The way he did his head.
That was him admitting that that part of him is still complete.
Look, he's proud of it.
I still have this.
Look, I got a nipple burnt off, but I got both sides of my ass.
I have a random but related question.
Sure.
I don't know why after all these viewings, I'm just processing that this man's name is Juan Tripp.
Yeah, that's a whole white man.
Okay, just checking. Thanks. You saw where I was going.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just like, he's like, look, Howard, I just want to let you know, do what you want to do, but if you Juan Tripp, I'm here for it. Just do some historic nerd rapping. Like, just throw that in there. Like, you think you're Howard Hughes? I'm here if you want a trip.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so Howard's OCD increases, and he locks himself away in his movie room. It's not in his house; it's like at the company. And
yeah,
Catherine pays him a visit, but he refuses to let her in. I can hear, or he goes, "I can hear you, Katie. I could always hear you, even in the cockpit with engines on. I can hear you." And she's like, "That's because I'm so goddamn loud." Love it. And Catherine tells him she loves her new dude, but she still wants to go flying and she still cares about Howard. And Howard realizes she's no longer his and he has no chance. And as a viewer, we're seeing Howard sit in the fetal position, leaning up against the door. And like Catherine's talking, but she gets quieter and quieter and quieter. And like that was a cool little representation of like her leaving him.
Yeah.
Or at least him pushing her away.
letting it go.
Yeah, letting it go. Yeah. My boy was going through it in that damn movie room. He was collecting his piss in the old milk bottles. Like, I know that room smelled wild. He was in there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
3 months.
Yeah.
And he's not in his house. He's at the studio or whatever. So he ain't come out for 3. Man, they probably could smell that from the hallway.
I can imagine the person who was assigned to clean up after he finally came out was just like, "Here's my resignation." No, absolutely
I'm going to
not.
MGM. I'm going to Paramount. Man.
It's like that guy that was staring at him while he was sweeping was right. We were all wrong.
Man, look. So then Howard gets a visit from Juan Tripp. Who's I can't hear it now. Who's there to convince Howard to sell TWA from him. And like we said, Juan Tripp is a whole fucking asshole. And he's also there to troll him, right? So, and like kind of just rub it in his face that, he's in this state. And like he's purposely blowing cigar smoke through the door lock and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, sell TWA to me for this much. And he's like, it's worth 3 times, or it's worth this much. And he's like, nah, well, my stock is trading at 3 times.
That was cool.
That's not right.
Not what the stocks say bud.
Like the whole time they're both like keeping their cool. Well, Juan doesn't have a reason to lose his cool because he got it. He showed up there knowing that Howard's suffering and like Howard trying to hold it together. And like when it's done, Howard's like, well, thank you for your concern, Juan. I find that very moving. Oh, man. And eventually he comes out and he goes to his house and he declares his house a germ-free zone. So he at least was able to leave the movie room. And he looks way better at home, probably because he has a shower at home and he clothes and shit. Because he was also in there buck ass naked.
He was like, could you get me some shoes?
Yeah,
she was like, shoes? Yeah,
I just need some shoes. At some point, there's a part with him and Ava, and she's like, and you always got on them damn shoes.
The white, they're like white.
Yeah.
Plain white shoes.
I don't know if they were supposed to be Converse or if they were Vans.
Yeah,
or even
they looked like white Vans, but I don't think Vans was a thing back then.
I don't think Vans. They could have been Keds. I don't know how old any of the brands are. They were something like that.
Because there was the Keds shoe that looked almost exactly like the Converse All Star. So it could have been any number of just like simple. It's like, but a couple of different people were just like, what in the hell is wrong with you? You're a businessman wearing track sneakers.
He'd have a suit on with these shoes, and they're white canvas shoes, so they're always a little dirty.
He was changing the game.
Yeah, look, sneakerhead, Howard Hughes.
Right? Today we'd be like, oh, that's fire. But
he'd be up there. He got 17 pairs of Air Ones.
We wear sneakers with dress clothes now. as like a statement, like a style. But Howard Hughes was on that in 1947.
It was like, y'all know how we
Hype
do.
beast.
It's hype beast.
So eventually Howard comes out and he declares his house a germ-free zone, and there's tissue stacked up in the corners because he uses tissues to touch everything now. But Ava shows up, heavyweight champion of the world, Ava. So she still cares about him too. So that says something. Like, even though he a piece of shit and they seemingly ended on bad terms, two of his biggest relationships, they came back to check on him, you know? So Ava shows up to help him get cleaned up, and like he thanks her, and she says, "Yeah, you would have done the same for me." And so now Howard has he holds it together enough, or he seems to be bouncing back, and he goes to Washington for the congressional hearing so he could fight back against Senator Buster or whatever for railroading him. And eventually he turns the whole thing around, and putting it all back on the senator, putting emphasis on his relationship with Juan Tripp, implying that Pan Am bribes him, which, you know, that's what they were doing. Then it cuts to like Juan Tripp in his like Pan Am office, and he cuts the TV off and he tells his men that he knows that the bill that he was trying to get passed to ban any other company from flying internationally is dead now because Howard done won that battle. So finally we get the test flight of the Hercules, the giant plane that was originally being built to transport troops for the Army, or well, back then it was the Air Force was a part of the Army, that we've been hearing about the whole movie and like kind of seeing him build along the way. And the flight successful, and everyone congratulates him. And back on land, he starts talking about jet engines and how that's the way of the future, and how they need to start working towards getting jet engines on planes as soon as possible. And he's talking to Noah and Odie. And then he starts to hallucinate like these men approaching him with these clean gloves on, and he tries to fight it and like stay in the conversation, but then he starts to break down into a panic attack, and like they realize what's happening. They pull him away from everybody, and they put him in the bathroom by himself, and like Noah runs off to get a doctor, and
he's just in the bathroom. Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning.
So he's in the bathroom and he starts having flashbacks of his childhood and his love of aviation and his ambition for success and everything. But he's stuck in another, I don't know what you call it, but he's stuck saying the way of the future, the way of the future, the way of the future, the way of the future. And like the movie ends on that. So
feels.
Yeah. I was trying to process that last scene, if I could make sense of it. And the best I got is like, I don't think he would have been as accomplished if he didn't have his eccentricities, you know? Yeah. So it's like he needed both. He needed everything to get to where he got.
It's in a way, it feels like they're kind of showing that he's never really going to get control of this.
Yeah.
He's never really going to be 100%, but he's going to continue on in the way that he has.
You know what I don't know? What happens after this? I don't know anything about him after this movie. I mean, I'm assuming we got the meat and potatoes, but like
I looked it up, and he died very much later. It was a while.
Okay.
But there's no telling. I didn't look into it as deeply to see like what kind of stuff he like accomplished after. I don't doubt he wasn't the first person to like be like, all right, ready to get in that jet plane that I designed. And they were all like, so pause. How about let's just do the averages here? And no, sit down. I'm not gonna. What's the odds of me crashing 3 planes on the test flight? No, sit. Let's not find out.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Third time was the charm, at least in the movie, for his new planes. First one crash landed in the beat field. Second one crash landed in Beverly Hills. Third one, he finally got it, and it was on water. So
the thing floated like a boat.
Yeah.
What's the worst could happen? Like, we didn't get fast enough, so we're back on the water.
Right.
But yeah. So what was your favorite scene? I think we already said that. Did we all agree that it was the Beverly Hills Crash?
That was so
wild.
well orchestrated within the movie that
Yeah.
I said, I had been stopping to look for things and see how real they were.
Mm-hmm.
That one, I waited until it was completely over, just aghast about like how much damage and destruction there was. And it wasn't until the dude was like trying to pat the fire off of him and he's like, I'm Howard Hughes. I was like, oh shit, right. Let me look this one up. Like, damn.
Cherry?
I think that is that my favorite scene? I think it is.
You definitely learn a lot about him from that point.
You do. The one that sticks with me the most, though, is him being stuck in that like theater room for 3 months.
Yeah, because there's a shot, and I know that like that's one of those like I forgot what the word is for it, but like that shot is going to make it outside the movie shot, like of him in the theater room in the chair naked with the projection, the projector behind it.
Yeah.
I should have used that as the still. But I know I already said I love the crash scene. That was wild. But I also really loved him courting Kate. Like from her just like telling him straight up, hey, you're deaf. To them in the restaurant with Errol Flynn fucking up his dinner, and then him grabbing her and taking her on the flight over LA, and there's an alarming mountain coming our way. Like smooth moves, man, and not just smooth moves because of that, but also seeing how, like I said, they're two eccentric people, but eccentric in different ways, and he finally finds somebody that really dug him, like understood him.
They resonated.
Yeah,
and it was like kind of cool.
They couldn't make it work ultimately, but she always understood him. And she came back too, because she heard he's stuck in this movie theater room. She came back to try and get him out because she still cared about him, even though they ended on a sour note. Because she understood.
Yeah.
I was going to say, well, she's my MVP character.
She's not mine.
She's not. Oh, okay. Well, I'll ask this question: who's your MVP character?
I don't know. Probably him. There is nobody else that like even on a level where you could care about them, other than like it's just
favorite character. And which character are you? Then we'll just go straight in.
Right, like they're the only two you really get to know well enough to care about. If you're going to care about anybody,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's true.
I liked Alan Alda's character because the entire time after
got an Oscar for that too.
When things went bad in the court and he started to realize he was fighting a losing battle, he still pressed on. It's like, damn it, this jackass has got me in the corner. He's like, oh, so we're worried about overspending, huh? What about everybody else that did overspending? Uno reverse. He's like, God damn, Uno reversed. I didn't know you had that.
I like Odie too. Poor guy.
Yeah. Odie was very faithful.
He was always down.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is Odie from Garfield named after Howard Hughes' assistant Odie?
I don't know. Who knows?
Let's go down there.
Let's hope not. That would be too much credit for that comic that was almost literally conceived to be banal and make money. Odie's a good guy. What was his accountant's name?
Noah Dietrich.
Yeah,
John C. Reilly.
He was doing his best. So I gave a lot of my heart goes out to him for what he had to deal with. Middle of the night, Howard Hughes calls you up, and your wife's just like, "Don't answer. If I don't answer, he's just gonna keep calling."
Right.
I answer and just give him what he wants to hear.
Right.
Get up in the morning and ask him again. It's not a big deal. You want to sleep now, or do you want to sleep right now? That's the question.
Would you say which character you are?
I'm going to be the melted vanilla ice cream that he put down on the desk even when she told him not to.
Don't you do it.
Don't you do it. Don't you put it down. Howard,
in that respect, then I am I am the hot rod he chose to take out Ava in that the 15-year-old started wrecking with another car. Because I just love how she brought your attention to the car. She's just like, most rich men have beautiful cars to take their women out in, and you take me out in this jalopy with no hood. What does that even mean? He he's up there like, yeah, I got the 4-door with the twin carbs on it. I'm looking cool out here. A little flathead action. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, damn, bam. I hate you. I'm too young to process this. I'm mad at the wrong person.
Okay, I said my favorite was Catherine. What character am I? Sticking with the theme you guys established. I am the Hercules, aka the Spruce Goose.
Hey.
I will soar once.
Once.
It'll be a sight to behold.
Right? Look, I did it. You said I was going to fly and I flew.
Hope you were watching, because that's it.
I looked it up, and the plane is it at least still exists. I don't know if it's complete.
I think
it's in Oregon.
In Oregon. Yep.
So just below the most racist state possible.
Oh man, I'll ask you that offline. All right, I got some funny letterbox reviews. Emma Stefanski says, "I saw your Scarface picture."
What?
from he did also a Scarface movie.
Is that the review?
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. That's the whole
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is by Ely. Leonardo DiCaprio naked and unshaved, pissing in milk bottles and having a mental breakdown in his private movie theater. While not 100% accurate, it does paint a pretty abstract portrait of me on any given Sunday afternoon.
I was gonna make a joke about this is how gross dudes prepare for the con.
Will Menaker says, Randy and Superman fights persecution by the neurotypical.
Okay.
And this really cool guy named Tiff Zilla says, Kate Blanchett is Katharine Hepburn. 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 Kate Blanchett is Katharine.
Wow. Wow.
Giant breast full of milk. Giant breast full of milk. Giant breast full of milk. Want clouds, damn it.
Oh man. I did pack in Jesus. I did put in some quotes at the bottom, and that was one of them.
Oh, it is.
That's the first one. My decorator picked out the wallpaper. He's a bit of a queer bedbug. What? Was that a thing back then? Was that bedbug an insult? Or he said he's I'm sorry.
Queer as a bedbug.
He's queer as a bedbug. I've never heard that outside of this movie.
I feel like you could just say he's queer as and just throw anything in there
behind it,
and it'd be like, oh, but he's queer as a Dusseldorf. What?
Right? I mean,
what? 1940 whatever. Oh, that's where my damn quote is. I never put it back in. Oh, that's my ex-husband Ludlow. Father and mother are absolutely mad about him. What the hell is he doing here?
Oh, he's always here. I'm like, what? Your ex lives with your parents. What is that?
He's just there at dinner with your new dude. What are you sniggering at? You just sniggered.
Yeah.
I was messing with Kareem about that, and he was like, what the hell does sniggered mean? And I said, well, I first heard about it in Harry Potter. And he said, oh, J.K. Rowling would find a word that was that.
But that's not, that word is so much older than, oh my gosh.
But she could have used other words.
She
could have said snickered. It's probably the same word, just the British spelling.
Probably. No, I've seen writers who weren't British write sniggered, but they're all like older text. It's not a word we use like recently, but like.
I wonder why. We're not getting enough production out of Jane Russell's breasts. I want smooth titties, gents. Smooth titties.
I'm watching that. I'm watching that scene, and I'm like, is this a plane thing? What are they designing? No, it's a bra.
That's the joke, is that he's describing it like a full.
Yeah, he would describe it the same way he would design anything else. He's just like, boom. Hey, if he's part of how we got out of that pointy bra phase, let him roll. Let him, what do the kids say? Let him cook.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man. Let's wrap it up. Your final thoughts, if you got any.
Oh, I feel like, as with many Scorsese movies, the moment you think it's running long, it picks back up.
Yeah.
And it like carries you the whole rest of the way.
Yep.
It's a pretty dang good movie. Even though it is by, like the old guard in some respects.
Oh yeah. Like right now, a lot of the white cinephiles, shout out white cinephiles, are patting him on the back because he said he recut the movie because he realized that it was very, like, it was coming from the point of view of like a white man, and he didn't like the way it felt, and everyone started patting him on the back. And if you don't know that Scorsese, one of his biggest critiques is his movies are always just about white men. Like he's not known for his diversity.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, he finally is learning his lesson.
So I made him an Italian man.
He's a spicy white now. Anyway, so I forgot where I was going with that. But Cherry, your final thoughts.
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to think while you were talking. I don't really have any.
My final thought is you've seen this movie 20 times.
20 times, yeah.
What else can I say? Like, shit.
I don't know.
I really dig it. All right.
I did not have to rewatch it to do this episode.
Yes. If you haven't put that together by now, because she's implied it several times. You didn't have to rewatch the movie.
It's basically memorized.
So. I said, it's me and Tim, we got some space, and she was like, all right, I could do it.
Literally.
I love it. I really have to sit and think if it's my favorite biopic, but it's definitely up there. Got to be top 3. This is our second biopic on the podcast. First was Whitney Houston. I Want to Dance with Somebody. Much better than that one. But that one's also just a nostalgia play, just like you just want to hear the songs. That's that type of movie. And also Homegirl did her thing in that. But this one was very much more rounded, fired on all cylinders. I don't really have anything bad. It's pretty long, but like you just said, once you notice it's getting long, it gets interesting again. Because like the plane crash scene, we still had almost an hour left after that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, the second plane crash scene, we still had almost, but it got real interesting. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, there's a lot of similarities between this and Oppenheimer. So I probably need to watch Oppenheimer again and try and see if I could better explain that. But
get some matching.
Neat. Yeah. But yeah, loved it. Is it my favorite Marty Leo thing at the moment? Yes. No, the Departed is, sorry.
Yes.
This is right under it.
I
didn't feel like dealing with gangs in New York again. There's 5. There's the 3 we're doing for this podcast or this miniseries. Also Gangs in New York and The Departed. Departed everybody loves, so I didn't pick that one. And Gangs in New York, I'm not the biggest fan, and I might not be fair on that episode, so I was like, let me leave that alone. But next up is Shutter Island, which is one that I really did not like, but I am on record as saying I'll go back and I'll give it another shot, and then we'll do The Wolf of Wall Street.
Right on.
But yeah, ratings.
I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5.
You watch this movie 20 times, you gonna give it?
My requirements are low.
All right. You don't gotta explain it. I got you.
My criteria for rewatchable is not Not that high. It's not.
It almost seems like you do the same thing I do with Scott Pilgrim. It's just kind of like nothing is going on, and this is pitch perfect for right now. There it is. There it is. People like, you watching Scott Pilgrim again? Like, and why not?
Yeah, why wouldn't I? I have Scott Pilgrim basically memorized though, so that is a little higher than the Aviator.
Tim, ratings?
Basic rating, as usual, is would I recommend it to people. This is another one where I will definitely recommend it to people who are like into watching things, but anybody that like their threshold like begins and ends at Step Brothers, I'm just not going to talk about it. Somebody who thinks that Bram Stoker's Dracula is peak cinema, I'd be like, calm down, but watch this. You could get into this, I think. You like a lull in a movie. There's a couple in this. But yeah, I would if anyone asks like, "Oh, is that movie good?" I would say you should check it out.
All right. I gave this according to my Letterboxd review. It's an 8 out of 10. So great movie.
All right. Remember, you stand by the 8 out of 10 still?
Yeah, it's I'm still there. Right I can't really say anything that's wrong with it that would take it away from being a masterpiece. Maybe a little bit of editing, but I couldn't tell you what to take out. So I don't know. There's something there that's not perfect, but it's damn close. So great movie, 8 out of 10.
Cool.
I would still buy the Criterion of this if it ever came out, though. I don't know if I don't have any version of this on DVD, but I need to. So whatever version I can find, I'll get. And on that note, plugs.
As usual, I have a podcast with best friend Kat called Keeping It Creepy with Cherry and Kat. So you can find us on Spotify. We also have a Patreon and eventually a YouTube channel. So look for us there. Thanks.
All right, Tim.
Still D&D Sluggers. Not much to expand on over at my Patreon this month. So far, I've only dropped a cover of a song from the band I Am Dynamite. Not sure what caused it, other than I remembered that I'd been working on it for a while to do live. Hopefully to play when I open for them, because I'm a jerk. Just play one of their hit songs before they come out and play it. But I'm going to be hopefully streaming more, so come by my Twitch. I'm doing a Starfield playthrough, I think. I wish I could describe more, but I have no idea what's going to happen just yet. Because the last long form game I played on my stream was Fallout 4, and I had this whole thing going where I was the best chef in the wasteland. That is all going to transfer over to this, I think. It could get weird.
So you're enjoying Starfield?
Have you even started it?
Okay. Well. I switch to watch him start it.
Yeah, I'll be on there pretty soon. I'm gonna try to archive the clips for once. I'm not real great at that on Twitch, but gonna put more effort into that for once.
All right. As for me, you can follow me on Letterboxd, Tivzilla up there. You can follow the podcast at SGBK Podcast on Threads and on Blue Sky. And we also, I'm making sure I'm mentioning this, sgbkpodcast@gmail.com if you are not the social media type, but you still feel like saying something to us. All right. Thanks for listening. Remember, next week is
Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. I was about to say the wrong. Shutter Island on Paramount Plus. Week after that, Wolf of Wall Street, I think, also on Paramount Plus. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.